Good morning to everybody. So I'm Gabriela and I'm an architect and I work as pedagogical manager at Artigianelli.
And good morning everybody as well. My name is Maria Chiara Pavesi and I'm a psychology. I'm working at the Istituto Artigianelli as a project manager.
So also in our case, sorry for our English, but I will try. So as you can say, we have different roles and different backgrounds, but both work at Artigianelli for the technical and personal development of our students. Artigianelli is a VET center, so a vocational school. So we are talking about high school level, so and in Italy this is the base of the system because the students are so young and maybe they suffer the lack of motivation, some lack of motivation. However, our school is part of a network where different actors like companies, universities, researchers, and also social entities work together to create a complete and educational and professional environment. This is a picture of our school. We would like to start reflecting on the historical period and historical context we are in. As the previous presentation was saying, we are in a deep changing period. The linear and reductionistic approach which has characterized the past ages is no more acceptable. This approach has always interpreted reality as a series of singles and different entities that interact through linear or predetermined connections and improper to explain present society change. Considering our society is a lot more complex, dynamic, and peculiar compared to the previous ones. Consequently, it's necessary to see reality through a new paradigm. We should consider ourselves as a part of interconnected and dynamic reality in a systemic, holistic, and emergent approach. It is fundamental to recognize oneself as a part of a network of relationships that permanently restructure, bringing new meanings. Such a change forces us to a deep reflection because it requires a redefinition of psychology, social contracts, and pose ethical problems that must be not underestimated. And in this context, schools have a key role because they must accompany and support this change. But the school cannot do this from its current setup. In Italy, I can say I know that there are different systems in Europe. But the school cannot do this from its current setup. It needs to profound restructuring and start with redefining and the anthropological and pedagogical foundations of the adopted models, and then goes on the consistently distinct of organizational and management models. So, as you know, there are numerous publications that said that we have to change. Here we can see 3 of them. The first one is the European Strategy for Smart and Sustainable Inclusive Growth that said that we have to develop soft skills that are more important than knowledges. And we have to connect with the entrepreneurial fabric to support innovation processes, promotion and sustainable and inclusive systems. The second one the strategic framework for European cooperation in education and training, focused on the importance of creativity and the ability to learn, and the spirit of innovation to manage processes. And the last one, say that skills such as problem solving, critical thinking, ability to cooperate, creativity, and so on, are more important now than ever in the past. So we can say that nowadays, a baggage of knowledges is not sufficient for those entering in the world of work. So I think that this is the reason because we are here, because we was talking about why we are here today in this context. And maybe because we have to reflect on how can we form the guys, the young people for the future competence, for the future world of work. So in our school, Artigianelli, we said that we are not a school, but we are an ecosystem. We are working with ODF Lab, that is a laboratory for the University of Trento, and we have been studying, modeling, and experimenting for 10 years a new school model that focuses on the development of the potential of each student. And then we have studied a new pedagogical and didactic organizational model. In fact, we call us an ecosystem because we try to recognize in the other the potential that they have and how can we improve and support the students to achieve a success. So let us tell something about our students.
So our students study graphic and communication. They enter school when they are 14 years old, and they can obtain a degree and decide to go further with the study or to work, or to achieve other goals in a different way. But what does it mean? Let me introduce 4 different students. Francesco is a gifted boy. He is a huge talent. He's open mind, show excellent skills, but she has some problem in teamwork. Chiara is a student with disability. She has struggled in dealing with a full school schedule. Luca has a specific learning disorder, such as dyslexia, but he's good in math and in social interaction. And Sarah has good technical skills, but she suffers from panic attacks. And according to that, for example, she needs to empower herself and maybe have a clinical intervention. So now that you know a little bit more about our students, I'm asking you what they really need. As we can see, most of them do not need to improve their hard skill, but they need to work on a more personal level. And at the Artigianelli, we truly believe that we, as an educator, teachers, psychologists, should look at our students, considering them with the well-being, and trust every student resource and potential, but at the same time be aware of their difficulties, and moreover taking care both of the hard and the life element together. And we can state that the pedagogical action that we are presenting now start from the belief that we should have the stronger respect for all the psychological element and of the well-being, such as the relation, all the emotional problem behind, such as the cognitive process or the behavior and the psychophysiological process. And in order to let our students bloom, to find their vocation and bloom as individual before as a professionist.
So the problem was that how can we do it? How can we support our students in this? Because the nowadays structure of the Italian system is very rigid, and we have subjects, and all the students are together in the same class, and we have not the possibility to change and to personalize the path of the students. So we have to change all the school and all the basis of the school, the construct that are on the basis of the school. So we changed our system. Sorry for the, we have to, we changed something, yes, sorry. So we structured a system that could personalize the path of the students. So as we said before, Artigianelli is a part of an ecosystem, and we have a lot of people working with us in this system, and we signed a long-term agreements with schools, universities, research institutions, freelancers, companies, and so on, to have a better chance to experiment and work and combine solutions, expertise, ideas, resources, and opportunities. In this environment, personalized programs can be designed based on students' real needs. So as you can see here, and you can see here, we have a structure that is organized by modules. We have a first group of modules that are fundamental. Then we have the specialized module and the supportive modules. So fundamental modules are those which lead to core skills. So a student needs to complete them successfully in order to achieve their degree. Depending on the final degree that students want to or are able to reach, they need to attend a certain number of types of this module, and some of the courses among the fundamental modules are organized by level. So for instance, math and English are organized in 3 levels: basic, medium, and high. And students of 1 year are divided in 3 groups, organized by level. Because if you have a C1, or I don't know which system would you like to use to certificate your level of English? If you have a high level of English, you can go to a high level of in a high level group and not waste time in the basic level. The specializing module are partially developed at school, but in part they are developed in internships and in projects with companies. That is very important for us. These modules are chosen by students with the counseling of teacher and psychologist to create a personalized and technical curriculum.
And then the supportive and the caring modules allow our students to work on the life skills and improve their whole well-being. They are essential to our students to be able to perform and even to deal with the study method or all the lifelong learning skills. And we are in these modules, they need to experiment activities which are supportive for their emotional management and encourage and reinforce their cognitive function or their relational skills or their motivation and so on. And in this module, we are trying to break the vicious circle that brings a lot of students to feel a sense of failure or to lose their self-esteem or to have a lack of motivation, and that's bring to the dropout and so on. And we are trying to let them to experiment the success. But what does success mean? We need that, it means that let every student discover and experiment what they are good in, and not to be defined by their difficulties or to their imperfection. And so those modules are really open mind, flexible, and creativity, and so on. But you know what makes our human? What defines us as human? Maybe our imperfection. And I'm trying to show you something.
Sorry. It's not possible to taste it.
I'll do like that.
Okay.
So, yes, we have our imperfection. Everybody has some imperfection. But this is what makes us unique, you know? And if you are looking to a person and we are trying to consider all the different projects, and as psychology, for me, are the cognitive process or the physical process that we saw before, the emotional process, and yeah, I say emotion is in the hair, or all the relationship, and so the relational process, and so on. You know, the deficit or the difficulty is one and a part of the whole being, and it's not what is define us. It's just a part of us, and this is really, really important to keep in our mind. And we see, and if you are reading the definition of health, and it shows how fundamental it is to consider all the different processes that are the basis of the well-being, and that we showed before. And so, in this perspective, we have a functional vision of the person, and where is present, the deficit is just a component of the person. And at the center of the current relationship, there is the student, and not the deficit, the diagnosis, and so on. And with his peculiarity, with his process, resource, and even with problem, of course. And so, if caring and education is answering to needs and be able to be there and really be there for all the people, and if every person is unique, how could we answer to the needs and the question that our students are asking to us just with a single and statistic model? So we try to respond on all these questions with this ecosystem model. And in nowadays, there is another problem. We have a growing number of people that are suffering from symptoms like panic, you know, when the hair starting to just do like that, dun, 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 like for me now, it's like that. Or to suffer from, I don't know, relationship problem, and so on. And so, even from this, we believe that it's important to promote a personalized answer to every need. And to do that, we define this pyramid of well-being that you can see here, and explain our stepped care model based on the intensity of the disease. Let me try to explain you. At the base of the pyramid, we have multiple low-intensive well-being promotion intervention, such as mindfulness or peer tutoring or some teachers module or career orientation and so on. And then by increasing at the need, we find context therapy, where clinical intervention are mediated by shared doing. And then, at the last level of the pyramid, where the disease is high and it's need a clinical intervention, we activate some psychological counseling or even a psychological psychotherapy.
So let's come back to our students. So, for example, Francesco, that we know before, he attended all the fundamental modules and some of the specializing modules, but maybe something about in supporting to improve his capacity to work in team, but not more, because he's okay. He's a gifted boy. Chiara path is different because he attends some of the fundamental modules, but in the time that she's free because she had not to attend some of the fundamental module. She attended the supportive and caring module because she had more needs in this area. So she had to do it. So the path of each student is personalized, as well as Francesco and Sara and so on. So now we can say that, excuse me, Francesco is a real boy. Is a successful professor at MIT University in the United States because he was very good, and so he go on in his career. Chiara works in the field. Luca also because he found his work, his job in the field of the graphic design. So, for our point of view, this kind of path help our students and work very well, actually.
And the funny stuff is that we saw how the system function for the people with disease or from people with problem. But at the same time, if a student showed to be already competent or has a huge talent in something, we can do the same personalization of the modules, even for him. And so he will not attend the entire school schedule and may invest time in other activities, such as going already in some design lab or to work with the industry, university, and so on. And yeah, so we have bringing to you today some example, but all those examples are not enough to present, to cover all the peculiarity and of our ecosystematic approach. And there are a lot of and more aspects to take into consideration.
For instance, spaces that must reflect the characteristic of the schools, because we are working at it very well. We have spaces dedicated to socialization and flexible working and time to think and time to stay alone. In addition, the well-being pyramid does not involve only students, but it's required for entire staff, teachers, family, and all the people that work with us or stay with us. And finally, the ecosystem works better if we can open to welcome other and new ecosystem, and we are here for this reason. because we have to share our competencies and to improve our system. So MOSAIC is an excellent example of this kind of open mind approach. So in conclusion, we think that only an ecosystem approach with different actors bringing their specific strengths is able to teach such a disparate skills for our students. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there any questions?
Thank you so much for this interesting presentation. I think I have too many questions because it is so interesting. I was wondering, how do you organize this? Because it's wonderful that you have such an individual approach for students, but if I would look at that, I'm a teacher myself at Veg Education, Rotterdam, South, which also has a lot of challenges. And if I would look at how I would organize that, you know, computer-wise or with all the processes, very practical also, you know, to scheduling. I'm very interested, that's the first question, that how you organize that.
Yeah. This is one of my problems, you know, everyday in everyday life. So it's very difficult, you know, because we have different kinds of models. So the difficulty is to divide students in the different modules and put in the right module each time. So sometimes all the students for a class that is not a class, but it's a big group, are divided in 3 groups that are working at the same time. For example, when we are working at English, so English level, high level, medium level, and low level. And in this case, they are working all together at the same time. In other periods, they are working at specialized models, for example, on Wednesday, and all the students are working at this on Wednesday. And when one of the students needs some specific intervention, there's a group of psychologists that Maria Chiara leads, and it's just a group of people that organize the path of the singular student. So it's a very complex system. It's right. It's very difficult. We are not so big, so we have only 300 students. So we can manage this kind of. For this reason, students apply for our school. What we have near 180 applies, and we take only 50 students each year. So we cannot manage more of these numbers. We are little for this reason. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you. My question is about the well-being support for the teachers.
Yeah.
What does it mean in your reality? And do you have any special facilities at school and the places to calm down, or to, you know, how you organize the space as well?
Yeah. Right.
So we said that we have 3 different pyramids, you know. Now we spoke about the pyramids for our students. At the same time, we have a pyramid for the teacher and all the professionals that are working in our ecosystem, and the other for the family and all the people behind our student. And so there are some action like the mindfulness. We propose to our teachers some mindfulness course. So we have like MBSR. And for example, some teachers decide to be MBSR, which is a mindfulness protocol trainer. So the school let them to go and to form themselves as mindfulness trainer. And then when they came back, they just share the knowledge with our students, with the other teacher and the colleague. And we have a space it's called Helvetica. And it's a small place where we can go up and meditate, or sometimes we have like some, it's called Palestra della Consapevolezza, is awareness gym. Okay. When we propose some different appointment, when we are speaking about knowledge, emotion, about self-consciousness, and so on. Or some team buildings moment.
This is one of these.
We are living in the Dolomites, and just going around, hiking, and having some times together, funny times together is important. Or at a cafe, we have this place where, amazing. And our cafe is a lab for our students. So behind there are students, but at the same time is a place where we can meet and we have just some quality time together. A coffee, an espresso time for our Italian espresso is fundamental, but it's so much a powerful moment. Stay there, asking to my colleague, how are you? And caring about the answer, and not just say, yeah, how are you? Fine, thanks, and go again and working and stress and so on. So there are really a lot of really small action that we can act, and everybody can act, and that's bring well-being in our ecosystem.
For example, mindfulness courses are also for families. If family wants to attend a mindfulness course, they can. So we organize all these activities in the evening, more or less, for families or for other people that work in our ecosystem.
Thank you so much for this presentation. It resonates so much with what I'm trying to work on. So I really loved it, and I love your system. But I was wondering, because it is so adaptive, so I guess if I understood well, there is no a class group. There is more like groups per disciplines, right? So for example, how do the students with social anxiety manage with changing peers each and every day or hours, maybe even? How does it work for them?
Yeah, we have a peer education program that at some periods of the year, students mix the group and work to other projects, maybe a little bit smaller than the other, to know the other people and to improve and to know how the high-level groups works, because we mix the groups and push it to improve their skills. On the other hand, we saw that students in this kind of system, they feel that they are part of an ecosystem, a big ecosystem, and not only part of a class or a little group. They are very proud of being an Artigianelli. And we have a lot of students that want to stay with us. Two of them, you know it, Marco and Francesca, that are ex-students and now work with us. We are very proud of being part of this ecosystem. Yes, such a family, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. You talk a lot about ecosystem. This is really a key word for us all here. And we know that part of this ecosystem are the companies, especially in vocational education and training. And I could see that you had half of the courses in companies. So I was wondering, how do you select the companies that host your students, and do you work also with them to enable a continuing path between school and company time, so that students are not lost when they arrive in companies?
So we have near 300 of companies that collaborate with us, because we need more and more collaboration with the territory. So it's in a very important field. We have a group that manages the relationship between school and companies, and that organize the partnership with for the students in companies. But it's not only about this, because we have a company into the school that work in our spaces, because it's very important to create a very innovative context where students can see what happened in a company, how they work. So a cartoon artist, that is a company that make cartoons, works into the school. They have an office into the school, and they do also partnership for students in some periods. So this is very important. But also the other partners of the ecosystem, like the University of Trento, that is very, very important for us, because we collaborate permanently with them. For example, we have a scuola di psicoterapia,
psychotherapy specialization schools
into the school. So some of them, our teachers, attend this specialization because they are interested in it. So this is the difference between collaborate with others and be an ecosystem from my point of view, because you have to stay in school to collaborate and to show to the students how companies and how universities and how researchers works. Because also FB Kappa, that is a research center that is very famous in Trento, is in our school, collaborate with us. So we have daily interaction with them.
Thank you so much for your presentation. In the first part of your presentation, as you said, having a lot of knowledge is not enough for people who are entering for their careers. What additional skills are needed for those people who are entering into their work, except emotional skills or knowledge?
Yeah, I can answer for a part and you for the second. From my point of view, my work is also referred to the technical and educational process, and she works with the emotional part of the people at school. From my point of view, the most important skill is to be open-minded, innovative, and see the context where you are, and read this context and find solutions for the nowadays world. So it's very important for us this kind. So we work a lot in methodology, design thinking, language learning, and so on, because we need to prepare students for the world that we are living.
Yeah, I just move a step next to the artisanal ecosystem, and as a psychology, when I'm doing a job interview, and a candidate comes and wants his job, the hard skills are fundamental but at the same time, all the soft skills are fundamental. So everything that you are doing next next to the hard knowledge, so the volunteering, all the relational moments, what we are doing even now. I mean, being here, bring your time to be here for other people and to let all the people feel comfortable. And this is really important. And say, yeah, I'm caring about, and I know, and I'm proud of my knowledge, but at the same time, I know that it's not enough. It's important to get with the people. It's important to know how to control our emotion. It's important to know how to be able to speak with other people. It's important to how to work in a team, be a leader, and all this stuff are so important nowadays. And normally we think that when we have to have a job, an opportunity, we have to have like 70% of technical knowledge. But it's not so true. We have to have technical knowledge, then relation knowledge, then some kind of personal knowledge. And mix it, all of them, we will being a professionist and we'll find our job.
I think that we pretend to be able in all these fields, but we don't dedicate time at school for develop these skills. That is important, that you have to, you need time to work at these skills. And this is the potential of this modular approach, because you have, if you need more and more time to develop your competence in relationship, you can avoid, you can don't do it one of the module of the fundamental of the specializing model, and dedicate time for you, for your well-being, for your mental health, for all the other skills that you need.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I appreciate the illustration right there. It makes the subjects, you simplified actually the subjects. My question is about where there was like a flower talking about psychophysical process. Yes, this one, relation in the emotion process. What I see that you're using this strategy to help your students and to make them improve and everything. But is there like any good example, like an example of people that you had in your school that you then you use the strategy? We want to see like where are they right now? This is like some real example if it does exist for now, because I don't know how much time you had to make it real. So there's some examples.
Yeah, as I said before, the people that we see here are real. So, for example, this is the question. Is this the question? Yeah. Okay. That Francesco was a really gifted boy that was. That attend all the modules, the fundamental and the specialized module, because he was so interested also in the field of graphic design, and he was so innovative. So he worked with FB Kappa, that is the research company that worked with us, and solving problems for real life, and a very high level of educational path, because he was working with researchers like you. He was very good. But we have also some people that are Sarah and the other people that we saw before that have many problems, and they are not able to be at this level, and they need to take care of themselves. So we have at this moment for each year in all the school we have near 60 personalized paths, and each of the students have a different problem, and we construct the path with modules, with taken modules and supportive module to improve them and put it in the working life. I don't know if it was your question.
Yeah, actually, I thought that they were just imaginary. I didn't.
Yeah. No, they was real.
Okay, that's good. And the last question: when you're working about this, what like the hardest parts? It was like, is it the emotion process or the behavior or the psychophysical process? What's the hardest part? If you can give us a rating.
Both of them. Now, the harder part, on my point of view, is the organizational one, because it's mine. No. I don't know. Both, I think.
I think it's the help seeking before, and it's the process before asking help. When people came and say, I need something, then yeah, we have an organization and we have amazing professionals that are working and make the path possible. But let the people to ask help, let the people, and trying to normalize that it's normal to have some problem and asking for some help and having so many different paths. This is something really difficult, but this is just my opinion and personal opinion.
Yeah, also the relationship with families.
Yeah.
Because families pretend the maximum for the sons. So tell them that it's normal, that something, it's not time for this, it's time for other kind of knowledge, or other kind of competencies, is difficult.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It was very interesting. Last year we had the opportunity to see live your center, but I think we discover every time new things. One question I had is about, like, as the work environment constantly changes, we need to, of course, adapt to that. So how much does your system actually change to reflect this? And to what extent and how deep? We saw the different modules. Are there like set modules, or do you try also in time to somehow reflect also this changing environment in which we need to work afterwards? Thank you.
So graphic design environment is very change very, as you know, very quickly, and so we are collaborating permanently with companies and trying to understand how the world of graphic design is changing, and how can we manage and change the models, also the specific one, the specializing model that are more specific. I don't know, for example, there is a model in packaging, that how this field is changing, how can we use more sustainable materials, how can we, and we are always analyzing the needs of the companies in the future to organize this kind of model permanently. This one can change year by year, the specializing one.
The content changes, I imagine, but
yeah.
The structure itself, the fundamental, specializing, supportive.
No, the structure is fixed. Yeah.
Like I said, I teach myself, I work in education myself, and to my experience, teachers are not always the most adaptable persons to change.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
So I was wondering, because this is quite a change, how you get those colleagues to cooperate in this project.
So this is one of our work, part of our work, because when we have to select one teacher, new teacher, we focus on the skill, the soft skills competencies that this person have more than the technical skills, because for us it's more important the mindset that you have when you enter in this context, in this kind of ecosystem. So when we choose them, we are it's very important for us to understand what soft skill do you have. Are you able to work in group? Are you able to collaborate with others? How about your relationship skills and so on? In this case, with all teachers, yeah, we work a lot also in this field because, as you said, teachers are not, are very structured, and it's difficult for them to change and to accept this kind of system. But yeah, the best teachers are ex-students. Yes, it's true. Young people, ex-students that know how that is work and how can you work in this kind of context. They are very good in this.
One more question that I was wondering. I teach for about 12, 13 years now, and sometimes I'm wondering if my students are less resilient, meaning that they're less capable of finding solutions to the challenges that society holds for them. And I was wondering if you see that same challenge or same development, and also sometimes I wonder if they, how wonderful this is, but if they are offered everything here, how adapted are they when they are on their own in society to be resilient within society, to find their own their own solutions, because sometimes it really worries me to see that with all the challenges that are there.
So, for our point of view, some of the skills that they need in the future are very. The system is very useful to develop this kind of skill. For example, responsibility, because you have a module that starts at September and finish in December, and you have to finish the work in these 3 months, and whatever happens, this is the time. So some kind of skills like responsibility, management of time, and so on are very, very good structure in students that finish our school. And I know because I teach in the last year of school and in the first year in university. And I can say that my students for the 5th year of school are better for the students in the first year of university in this kind of skills. Also in working group and be innovative and analyze, and because also we work a lot with design thinking and how to analyze your problem and which is the real problem and how can you manage the solution and how can you manage the time to find the solution in a really brief period and so on. So they are so good in this kind of skills. The problem is that, as you said before, some young people are less resilient, but also weak. Weak. Yeah, they are very weak. So there is a group of people that are very weak, and for this reason, we put the supportive and caring model because they need so much attention in this kind of field.